Right, and we're on.
Yeah, finally.
Yes, I'm sitting here with Alan Philpott.
How's it going, man?
So you and I, we met at the last Silverback show.
Yeah, that's correct.
And it was a bit of a cracking card, great fights.
Yeah, very, very good. No, some local amateurs coming through, put on an absolute showcase. It was an exciting night of fights.
Yep. So let's actually, because you've got a fight coming up very shortly.
Yeah, 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Yeah, Eternal 73.
Eternal 73.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about that first, and then I obviously want to find out a bit more about your story, how you got here, and all that sort of stuff. So, how's camp been first of all?
Yeah, to be honest, no. Every fighter says it's best camp, feeling good, blah, blah. I would be telling lies if I said I was feeling good. I'm not. I'm feeling horrible. I'm cutting weight. I'm sore from head to toe. But mentally focused, it's been a real game changer, this camp. And I don't know if it's because, maybe I'm coming off a couple of losses now. It's made me realise that I'm not where I think I should be, or I'm not where I am. Where I am right now in this position, in this fight. In this part of my career is where I probably should be right now, and it's only now I'm starting to realise that, because there was things I wasn't doing the previous camps that I thought probably weren't as important, and it's resulted in me transferring it into the fight and getting caught in submissions or not pulling off certain things that we worked on, and that's just down to not enough repetition and drilling time. So this camp, I really did. For me, it's make or break. I know I'm only 30 years old. I still have a few years, and when I say make or break, it's not like right, done, that's it. But I'm at a position in my career now where I can't really start again. Do you know what I mean? When I come back after such a long layoff, I was challenging the top featherweights in Australia. You know what I mean? So it's I can't really build from the bottom again, but at the same time, it's I can't just keep being that fighter that's getting people to the next stage either. You know what I mean? And it's not that...
Yeah, you don't want to be the gatekeeper.
Nah. Yeah. It's like the Donald Cerrone type, you know what I mean? As much as he's entertaining, everybody wants to watch him fight. I'm very similar, but that's not why I'm doing it. I'm not getting paid the money he's getting paid. Yeah. You know what I mean? I'm not doing this for the money. Eventually down the line, that's the goal, where I can do this full time, make a living off it. But I'm doing it for the love of it. But no, right now I've went back. I've left the coaching side. I've went back to full-time training. Full-time working, and still training my 2 times a day. Yep. No, it's definitely been a lot harder and tougher, but on the body as such. But mentally, I feel so much stronger, and I've enjoyed it. You know what I mean? Where I should be coming in here feeling a lot of stress. Like I said, I'm on a 3 fight losing streak. One going away before the whole COVID thing was on the One Warrior series. Yep. Which was if I'd have won that, I was getting a $100,000 contract for one championship. Yep. Things didn't pan out the way they should have. Had a long break, knee surgery. That things got shut down. Wasn't able to fight for so long. Came back, challenged to the top Australian featherweights. Straight into the deep end, as you would say. Yep. Everything's just been bam, 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 go, go. Where I feel like this time it's been. It's just I'm not, like I say, I'm not back to square one, but I'm able just to fight again. I'm starting to get that momentum again, go back to my roots a little bit, change up from just being a striker, because it's an MMA at the end of the day. Yep. But the last few years I've sort of came away from that because I've got high level striking. Yep. I haven't been in a fight where I've been outstruck yet. Yep. And majority of my training, I'm always getting people in the striking department, so I sort of just swayed more towards that to build up into a striker, where obviously my oppositions they know that. Yeah.
Isn't it funny? There's so many factors that I don't think people really appreciate that go into fighting, right? So there's the physical side, making sure the body's as ready as it can be. There's the technical side, making sure you actually have the actual skills, right? And then there's the mentality side. That mental aspect is actually such a really big thing, because there are guys that that can come in the gym and they might do really well in the gym, sparring in the gym, but they just they get on stage and the lights and everything just scares them and they shut off. Yeah. And then there's other people that don't do as well in sparring, in the gym.
Go into the fights.
They go on the fight. It's like a superstar, right? There's so many different ways that everybody's different. And I guess why I'm thinking about that is because one of the things that you were talking about, how you've just sort of gotten to, I guess, reevaluate, and reset yourself coming into this camp. One of the things that Demetrius Johnson said, you know, in a podcast with Joe Rogan, he was talking about how in his last fight with Marias, he was just, you know, flowing and having fun with it.
Yeah.
You know, and that's something that really resonated for me, because when I fight, it's like when I'm having fun, that's when the danger comes out.
Yeah,
like,
of course. Like,
'cause
you're not pressuring yourself. Like I say, I feel like with my Justin Van Heeren fight, I was nearly focusing too much on the game plan and being too strategic. And then with the Diego Pereira fight, it was like I was doing a wee bit too much.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was like, all right, I was having fun, but then it was a wee bit like I started getting carried away too much, and then that's when I was jumping for that guillotine and like trying stuff that I probably shouldn't have done then.
Yeah. It was just a tactical error.
Yeah.
That was a good fight, the Pereira fight.
Both of them, brother. I mean, like, no, Justin took me down. He's a very strong grappler, very, very good grappler. And when I sparred him and stuff and trained with him in the past, I knew this. But in that fight, whenever I felt his grip, he was a lot more stronger in there than he was previous. I knew he's done the work. Look at the team he's with. But I do know I am a far better fighter. I'd take that away. He was the one that won the day, and that was fine. But it seemed as with Diego, I was just so flowy. Like, I was just feeling it. But again, I lost my focus and concentration a wee bit. They stick to so I probably should have stuck to the game plan more in that fight than the Justin fight. But no, like I say, it is what it is. You learn from it. So we're here again.
Is there? Do you do anything from the mental aspect side? Like, do you have somebody that you work with, or like how do you sort of approach the mentality side of things?
Over the last few years, I've been working with different people and trying different things. I do feel I have benefited in some ways, and I have took a lot from it. But this camp, though, I just didn't. I was just focused. To be honest, it's time as well. I didn't really have much spare time between work, training. I've got my dog, and then I'm trying to like rest in between as well.
Yep.
So like I didn't really have that much time. Like you say, you have to rest the brain too. If I'm doing work on my mind coach and that, like, there's no rest. So, but I also feel like maybe I need to go back to my roots. Back in the day, I didn't have one. So I've took what I feel is going to benefit me, but not focusing too much on it. And I'm just trying to enjoy it, man. Just like trying to be myself in there, and that's the biggest thing for me. Is like when I'm on and I'm myself, like no one can work with me.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, I'm a different animal in there.
Yeah.
But one of the things I do think was like pressure going into them last fights. As much as I feel fantastic, I'm enjoying the moment. I feel good. I don't feel physically pressured, but obviously deep in my mind,
it's in there.
I am pressuring myself because again, I was fighting for world titles. I was close to getting signed to the UFC on short notice. I was close to one championship. I was the champion back in the UK. I came over here. I was number one over here after my second fight. Things were going well at a stage, and like I say, I feel like I should be there, and because I'm not there, it's like adding all this extra pressure. Yeah. But now I know I'm not there. I mean, now I know I've got a lot of work to do to get back to where I was. Like when I was headlining them shows and I was the main man, there was these amateurs who now Cage Warriors champion getting close to getting signed to big promotions. There's people I was coaching who's world champions and all now. Like people has overtook me, but they've stayed on course and focused on them. Where I think a big thing of me was I was focusing on everything else and like what other people were doing, and why are they getting the opportunities over me and stuff. And at the end of the day, everybody's path's different.
Yeah. But I think it's good that you can also recognize that. One of the things I always like to talk about when it comes to mentality is like, if you think about past, present, and future, right? A lot of the times when people are thinking about the future, they're worried about something happening, or they might be really anxious or excited about something. Yeah. And then when people are thinking about the past, it's generally regret. Yeah. 100%. Like that's what keeps playing in their mind. Like if you think about a happy memory in your past, you sort of think about it, you smile to yourself, and then you move on. Yeah. Whereas when it's something that you go, if I didn't do this or if I did that, like those are the ones that really play on your mentality. Type thing. Yeah. Whereas the real beauty, I think, where you find the most peace is when you can just really appreciate and be where you are.
Yeah, definitely. Right? That was a big thing. Like last year, when I did the Diego Pereira fight, like there was no excuses. Like I was there, I was fully there, and the performance and all was showing up. But no, that whole camp was mad. Like I was injured, I was homeless. Yeah. I was sleeping in my car. I was, the dog, she went through an emergency operation. Like I was, you could have threw whatever at me, and I just was like, the fighting's. I finally realised that what fighting is for me. I sort of knew deep down, but like I didn't realise how much I need it. You know what I mean? Like I want it, and this is my happy place. As much as you get tired and it's hard work and stuff, and sometimes you don't feel like it. Like when I'm not in training, like a training schedule or not on form, that's when my life dips.
Yep.
And that was the one thing, going through all that, like I just was like, you know what, no matter what comes at me or what it is like, this is where I'm at now, and like, you just have to get through it and enjoy it. And I think that's been a massive wake up for me too, and why I'm enjoying it. Like I say, coming off 3 losses, I should be really nervous, flapping, thinking, oh, I need this fight, I need this win, and I'm not at all. Like I'm not over analysing it. I'm not putting no more added stress on myself whatsoever. I'm taking this fight as what it is. I haven't looked past this fight. You know what I mean? I'm literally just focusing, and I believe that going through all that last year and realising, like I say, when you're lying in the car, you can't sleep, and you're just sitting looking at the stars, you and the dog, and you're just wondering what's next. Yeah. Where do I go? Like they had shut up shop and MMA completely, and they make working a career for money, or what do I do? And I had to answer a lot of answers within myself, and I think that's been a massive thing, realising like where I'm at in my life, and that it's not going to be, I'm not going to be in this position forever, whether it's for a positive or negative or whatever. Like it's never, I'm never going to just stay here. Like something's going to happen.
So and that's why you really got to enjoy it.
That's it, man. Right? That's it. And you've that many stresses outside of the cage or outside of training, and like no one's making me do this. Do you know what I mean? Like, no, I have to work. If I don't work, I ain't paying bills. I ain't got a home. Yep. You know what I mean? Like, so that's unfortunate in this position where I'm at. That's what I have to do. So it's like, all right, well, that's what it is. I mean, this is my go-to. Like, I'm choosing to do this. I want to do this. And I do genuinely believe that, if I do this properly and, like, enjoy it for what it is and stop trying to look past it and think I should be further than where I am, and just, focus on where I am and how to get better, that I can give me a good life. And I think obviously that's a big part of going into this fight too, is like why I'm enjoying it. And it's also a different fight than I've had before. I'm fighting a big, tall striker. I've never really fought any strikers as such, maybe 1 or 2. But it's always turned into grappling anyway. But this guy, he'd saying that he's coming. He could come and grapple as well. I'm not like the same MMA. Do you know what I mean? And he knows I can strike as well. So maybe, and I've been choked out a few times, and he's won by a choke. So maybe his team's thinking, do what? Let's throw a spanner in the works and strike. But regardless, it is what it is, and I'm coming there. I'm going to show up. I'm going to be on form. I'm going to enjoy every moment of it.
That's it.
And just whatever's meant to be is going to be.
Yeah, it's when you go through those sorts of experiences, it's not just the visual aspect, right? Everybody visualizes. Yeah. They think about, this is things are gonna look like, and all that sort of stuff. It's actually also, it's all the senses. It's the smell of the gloves. I love the smell of the gloves. It's just one of those things when you have a fresh pair of gloves and that smell of the leather. As soon as I smell that, it's like, take me to the violence. Straight away, And so then it's like, it's the feeling of like the canvas. Yeah. It's the feeling of the cage. Like these things. It's the atmosphere, the electricity in the air.
That's for me, is a big one, the atmosphere. I come from a crazy place as it is. I grew up from my first fight until now. Like, there's always a crowd going mad, singing Super Ali or shouting my name. And, the one time I didn't have any fights was in the One Warrior series when it was
quiet. It was quiet, wasn't it?
That was even before COVID. That was before the no crowds were allowed. This is what they done anyway. And I actually enjoyed it in a way too. But it wasn't until I actually got back in front of a crowd I realised the difference. Like at the time, I thought, I actually probably prefer this. Like no crowds, just focus, fight, back out. It was nearly like a spar. Yeah. Which it took the pressure off. But then when I got on a turnout, I got the cameras, the interviews. People were starting to talk a bit more about it, and it was more of a show and that. I was like, I missed it. And you're hearing your name, and it's good. Like the face-offs, maybe even the back and forward a bit on the line before. It's all good. It's just enjoyed it. Definitely enjoyed the crowd better than no crowd.
All right. Well, let's wind it all back for people. So you've got a bit of an accent.
Yeah.
So where were you born and where did you grow up?
So I'm from a place called Ballymena, which is in Northern Ireland, County Antrim. Small town outside Belfast, not a lot of people in it. Sorry, mate.
That's right.
You're near knocked around you. And there's not a lot of people, but I started when I was younger. My granddad was a boxer. Okay. Back in the day, and then he ended up joining the army and becoming a coach and a PT. Yep. So though, like my dad and my uncles, they were all boxers as kids. Yeah. My uncle, he then joined the army too, and he was actually I can't remember what promoter it was. It was one of the promoters at the time. They wanted to buy him out of the army to actually go pro boxing.
Yep.
But he was too fond of the sauce and like the drink and the army lifestyle, and that was him. So no, they never sort of followed their path. As a young kid, I tried to box. I was never a great boxer, to be honest, and I was always fat as well.
Well,
I was a small fat kid.
No way.
Yeah, man.
You wouldn't picture it now.
Yeah, it's fat.
So
I had asthma too, so like running and stuff wasn't ideal for me. Like when I played football, like soccer, I was always the goalkeeper, which was pretty good at. See, anything with my hands, I was pretty good at, to be honest. No, and then I was doing taekwondo one stage, and I was actually really good at that.
Yeah.
But I was a little shit in school, and my dad stopped me going.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So wait. Okay, so when you start, obviously when you start school, you wouldn't have been a little shit.
Nah, well, maybe from a young age, I was a little monster. Like, it wasn't bad. I was just cheeky and always had to be the class clown, and but that's calmed down now. I still like the attention and stuff and to be me a man, but I'm a lot more chilled.
So then, what age did your dad pull you out of school?
No, out of school stopped me from going for taekwondo.
Oh, to taekwondo.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
because I was good at it and I was enjoying it. I was being cheeky and bad in school, so he was like, "You're not going anymore." So he actually stopped me going there, and then I just never got back into it.
That's horrible. If I was a parent, I would have just made you double down on taekwondo.
Yeah, exactly. Do extra.
It's something that you're into, right?
Yeah.
Like, a lot of the times, I think especially for boys, it's like we're bored.
Yeah, 100%.
That's what makes us cheeky.
Then after taekwondo, I tried like football, rugby, boxing, traditional jiu-jitsu. It was in and out, and then when I was 12 until 16 is when I kept the head down and actually was boxing, and it was just like novice level competitions, a few of the senior level, but I was never that good. Like I say, I was a really small fat kid and stuff, and I wasn't actually, when I was 16, I seen my mate at the shop and he had like a busted eye and lip, and I was chatting to him and he was telling me about this MMA stuff, and it's because it was fighting, and I was like, I love fighting. So I was like, right, I'll go. So I went one night and I was like, I loved it straight away. So like for the 4 weeks in a row, I went on a Wednesday night. It was just a beginner night at the time. They only had the one class on. Bear in mind, that's like 14 years ago. Madness. And then I got more opportunities boxing. Like there was competitions. We were going to England and stuff. So I was like really had to knuckle down every night in boxing.
Yep.
And then one time I was just had enough of it. Like I say, it was just, like you say, getting bored. I'm somebody that needs to be constantly learning something or doing stuff new.
Yeah.
And I just was like, something in me was to make the switch over to MMA. So at the time, the gym had moved to a bigger gym, but they needed a waiting list. And this is when it was starting to get more popular. People were starting to understand what it was. At the time, we had one of our coach. Well, I wasn't there yet, but the coach in the gym, Colin Robinson, he was in the UFC heavyweight. So it was like there was a waiting list. And the coach across that taught the beginner class, he lived across the road from me, Michael Redmond. And I remember I went over to his door and knocked the door, and it was like a Tuesday night, and I was like, "Oh, Michael, look, because he took a like to me straight away."
Yeah.
Like, and then obviously I left, and then I was coming back, and I was like, "Look, can I get on the waiting list?" And he goes, "Nah, come over tomorrow, I'll take you." So there was a waiting list, and
you managed to jump the queue.
Yeah, he was like, "Nah, you're coming straight away." So I went over. And then that was it, man. I remember, like, October, I was just turned 16 because was it October? I was 15. No, sorry, I just turned 16 in September, so this must have been August because I was just 15, and then I just turned 16, and then like 3 weeks later, I had my first fight in MMA.
That fast?
Yeah, but it was meant to be a no headshots fight.
Okay, so like a pancration style.
Yeah, it was maybe just bodies down, grappling, but we got there, and it turned out... it was headshots standing on the feet, just punching and kicking, no knees or elbows. We had shin guards.
Yep.
And funny, I boxed the guy twice. So we were one each in the championships.
Okay.
Then he armbarred me.
Oh no!
Yeah, I got beat my first 3 fights in a row. Yeah, and it was off win loss. I was losing more, and then I started winning more. Got picked to go to America one stage for my last amateur fight, to fight for Ireland.
Yep.
Came home, and then at that time it was Pro B, which was 4-minute rounds, knees to the head but no elbows, and 4-ounce gloves.
Yep.
No heel hooks. And then had 3 of them. I went 3-0, and then went to Pro A, which was full rolls then. And then ever since it's just been ticking away, and still here. It's been a mad journey. Like I used to be the guy that promoters would have called for short notice. We always took it. You know what I mean? And it wasn't that we were trying to be hard and we chat. That was the thing. Like, no, I found that if I was fighting all the time, it was easier to stay training. But the thing about fighting all the time is you're not really getting a chance to skill level up.
That's
you know what I mean?
Yep.
But
to train, MMA for 3 weeks and then jump into your first fight, like it's trial by fire, really.
But because it took such a quick, like, it was weird because the jiu-jitsu was actually what I was starting to be better in.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like and then 8 out of my 9 amateur wins are all subs.
Yep.
Only 7, 2 decisions I had, and then my first 8 pro wins are all subs. Like, so whenever I first joined, because I came from the boxing, and I got subbed the first 3 fights. After that, my coach was like, right, no more sparring.
Yeah.
Wow. So I was turning up, on the mats.
Working on your grappling.
Yeah, and then that's what I mean. And I got more confident there.
Yeah.
But again, coming away from, like, over the years, it was just on up and down. Taking fights. Sometimes it was weird. Like, the fights that I probably shouldn't have won should have been, like, proper camps and stuff. I won, and the ones that I was expected to win, it was like getting caught and stupid things, and it's nearly like that. That's been the gap my whole career, even now. So no, it's obviously I'm going in there thinking that I'm just going to win it. No, I'm far better. Blah blah blah. Like, I don't have that approach, but, like, obviously in my head it must, because it's the same things keep happening. No, I beat the harder boys and get beat by the easier opponents. Not that any opponent's easy, but do you know what I mean? So it's just frustrating.
It's one of the things I always think about is that when we're young, we're always conditioned to think about things as being good or bad. Yeah. Right? So it's like you lose a fight, oh, that's bad. You win a fight, oh, that's good. Or, you're the class clown, the teacher hates you, oh, that's bad. Yeah. Like these things that happen in your life, I'm hard up for money, that's bad. Yeah. Like we get really stuck in this.
Program yourselves.
Yeah, we get stuck in this programming that things are good or bad, because the way our parents teach us is like, oh, don't do that, you get a smack, or you get this, or you get that, right? So everything is always good and bad, good and bad, good and bad. The problem with that is that what you're thinking about all the time then is you're only thinking about things after they've already happened. Yeah. Because good and bad is actually a consequence, right? You can only say once you've gotten the parking ticket that, shit, that was bad, right? It doesn't actually help you to do anything about preventing it to happen in the future, right? So one of the things that I'm always very big on is trying to actually, rather than thinking about good and bad, and this is something that I'm trying to educate my kids on, is to think about things in terms of action and consequence, right?
Yeah, okay.
So, you do this action. So with my kids as an example, you hit your brother, okay? He's going to hit you back. Yeah. Your action has led to that consequence. Yeah. Okay, right? Yeah. It's not good or bad. Yeah, right? If you wanted to have a fight, and then you had a fight, like, great. Yeah. But if you didn't want to get hit, well, actions have consequences. Yeah, fair enough. So likewise, when it comes to fighting, I think people get really carried away by the outcome. Like, we think, I've got to win this, or I don't want to lose. Right? They're both, whether you don't want to lose or you want to win, it's the same. You're still thinking about the outcome.
Yeah, 100%.
Rather than focusing on, okay, if I look at my opponent, and this is, partly your coach's responsibility as well, but it's also your responsibility to know, okay, who am I up against? What are they good at? Yeah. Where are my advantages? Where should I take the fight? Right? And if you know that, okay, I have this distinct set of advantages, I should keep the fight here. Well, if I focus on my actions, the consequence is likely that you're going to win. Yeah. Irrespective of whatever your opponent does, because you keep the fight where you're stronger. But if you think about, I did this, shit, he hit me with this, that's bad. Yeah. And then you start thinking about good and bad, it's already happened.
Yeah, 100%.
Right? So that's one of the things that I think is a really powerful tool, when we think about what happens in our life, a lot of the times we're trying to make sense of it all, and people, like, often they start going, why would God allow this to happen, or God do this, or God do that? Take that out of the equation.
Yeah, 100%. That was a big thing with me too, mate. I hold my hands up. I used to, anytime something happened to that, I used to always have an excuse. Like, there was always a reason why that happened, instead of taking responsibility for myself. And over the last couple of years, I've realised that my actions have led to them positions or them things, and it's a hard pill to swallow, to realise that you're the cause of your own problems at times. Yeah. But I also believe it has been getting me over the line every time. But it's just, like I say, in the past, I've let too many external things and that build up and hold me back. And at the time, people were trying to tell me these types of things now, and I'm like,
you wouldn't listen anyway.
I mean, or if it was, it didn't make sense. Like, I used to live in Lanzarote in Spain with a guy called Vittorio Grunt. He just actually passed away there recently, but he treated me like a son. Like, was weird. We started talking on Facebook in like 2000. Well, I was 16, and then 18, he contacted me to come over, live and train over in Lanzarote. And no, I'd never lived away from my mum and that before. And I was like, no, like, I was in a bad place at home, and I was like, no, I was getting in trouble. I was fighting a wee bit in the street, getting in scuffles, and the coach actually he barred me from the gym.
Wow.
He disciplined me, and it was one of the best things that ever happened, because it really pulled my reins in and realised, like, 3 times it happened, and the last one he goes like, no, if it happens again, that's it.
So,
and I was like, nah, no way.
Yeah.
That's like, I need to sort it. Well, he actually then Vittorio reached out, brought me over to Lanzarote, and there's things that he used to say, and like, it nearly reminds me of the Customato and Tyson, like the philosophy types of things that he would have told Tyson. And at the time, I was just thinking, like this doesn't make sense to me. Like there's no way. But even now, no, I'm starting to think back, and I'm just like, oh wow,
yeah,
okay, now I get it. And obviously, I'm a bit older now. No, this is 12 years later. A lot has happened in them 12 years. Like, a lot. So like, now that I've grown up and I've started to see things better, I've started to realise that I am the problem. No, things I've done in the past has got me to where, and that's all, and that's one of the reasons why I'm not in the UFC, or I'm not further in my career. And it's not that I'm not good enough. Like, I'm definitely good enough. I know I am, because the people I've trained with, the fighters I've beat, the fighters I've fought, everyone. There's never, you can't say, you couldn't ask anybody I fought and they won't have to say, yeah, I had to work for that, or no, like we were not lucky to get it, but like, no, it fell in our favor. We seen the opportunity and took it, because I always turn up and fight. And that was what my coach was always saying. Like, he would never ever let me fight anything. Like, not that we ever had to ask, but I was good enough to fight anybody that ever beat me, and that's why I was there. But it was like the lack of discipline outside. You know what I mean? The lack of no.
And look, when I say that, you know, it doesn't mean that everything that happens in your life is your own fault.
Yeah, of course.
But there's, if you rephrase it, and the way that I like to phrase it is, you know, how am I complicit in the outcomes that I'm receiving, right?
That's it.
Because, you know, yes, there is an element that some things will happen outside of your control, but if you're also complicit in it, you're allowing it to happen to you as well, right? So, you know, and I know, you know, there's other mentalities where, like, you know, the jockos of the world will say you need to take extreme accountability. I think they're all very valuable, but, you know, you also got to realize that at different stages in your life, like if I was talking to myself from 20 years ago, I wouldn't have listened to me. I wouldn't listen to the knowledge that I have now and the wisdom that I have now. If I'm wise, I don't really think that I'm that wise, but some people will say that, you know, sometimes I drop these important nuggets of information, but, you know, it's taken a lot of reflection to get there.
Yeah.
Excuse me. It's, you know, it's taken a lot of, you know, a lot of losses. You know, I lost my first fight as well.
Yeah.
And actually, no, sorry. Let me go back, rephrase. So I actually won my first fight, but in hindsight, it was actually a loss, because even though I won that fight, the problem with that was that it instilled this mentality in me that, oh, everything that I'm doing is right because I won.
Yeah, okay,
right?
yeah.
So long term, it actually hindered my development, because if I had, you know, gotten a loss in that first fight, I would have had to go back to the drawing board from the beginning and go, hey, you know, oh, these things that you're doing, perhaps there's something wrong already, and that's why you lost the first fight. But because I won, when I lost the second one, then it was like, oh, but I know I can win because I've won before. Yeah. And then you lose the third one. And it's like, but, you know, well, I know I can win. And you're making your own excuses rather than going back and looking at it objectively and going, okay, there's a reason why I lost, why I lost the second fight. I need to go back to the drawing board and look at some of these things. Yeah. And so I reckon, you know, like that probably put me behind, you know, in my own martial arts development, say 5 years. And, you know, at the time, I wasn't 100%. Really doing it to be a fighter. I just love martial arts. Like, I've always been involved in martial arts. So it's interesting how, you know, these things that happen in your life, it's like, you know, people always say, or they'll ask things like, you know, would you go back and change anything? I always say that I wouldn't change a thing, but I'd want it to go faster. Like, I'd want to learn those lessons earlier. Yeah. I didn't need to go 5 years and then learn the lesson that, hey, you know, you really need to get a ground game, right? I should have, you know, realised after the second fight that, hey, you need to get a ground game, right?
100%.
And not try and, you know, do it on your own. Actually go and get a ground game. Like, go and get a coach and go and do this. Right?
Well, that was one, and then that's funny enough how I ended up in IGOR's I was training with Josh Kulabal. He was coming over to Legends where I was doing the MMA, and I had Johnny Benavidez. He was my striking coach, and then I didn't have anyone as a MMA coach as such. So after the one fight, I was like ready to retire the gloves and just be a full-time coach. And then I had done a full 360. I was like, I need the opposite. I need to be coached. and that's what I was missing. That's how I came to IGOR, because I seen how good Josh was, and Josh is obviously his own fighter as well. He's a great student. He's a coach's perfect student. You know what I mean? Where I can be a bit difficult at times, but no, that's
the hard-headedness.
Yeah, that's just stubbornness, mate. I think I'm always right, and most of the time I am. But that's why I came here to IGOR. Like, no, and I really it's only been a couple of years, so it has took time to adapt. Like, we gelled straight away, and we understood, no, we're on the same path, and so like for the end goal for like the team and the career wise and that. But no, it's just been trying to find the ways where it both works together, and that's another another big thing in this camp. I feel like everything's just clicked. All the boxes are being ticked. Like, the coaches are, what they're saying, I believe works, and it's like, okay, I understand. Like, this makes so much sense, and this is what I would do as well. Yeah, it's like everyone's on the same wavelength going into this fight. Where before I was like, keep this, like, don't kick, keep your hands out, just box and anti-aggressive.
Too many things.
Yeah, and I'm like, nah, but like not enough things nearly. You know what I mean? I'm like, not kicking's a big part of my game, and and start questioning things. Like that.
But it puts it in your mind, because you're now second guessing.
And then, like, I remember even in the Justin fight, like, the thing was just basically the box and anti-wrestle. You know what I mean? Like, and on paper it made sense, and it was working. Everything that was working. But I threw a head kick and rocked him. Yeah. And then, the first thing that came into my head was, shit, I shouldn't have threw a kick. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, that kick worked there. Yeah. I should have followed up with it and then started throwing more. Just because we planned something, and in the fight it should have changed up a little bit. We should have adapted to that, but I tried to stick. So things like that too, but in this fight, like, I do feel we have all gelled, and like we found the pathway, to get me the best me, and then it's good. I'm excited for it. Yeah.
One of the things you mentioned was when you were younger, you were getting into a bit of a trouble before you obviously went over to Italy.
When I was like 18 to 21, because I was I was 16, I was in the gym. Like, I used to be called the apprentice, and that's because I was literally my coach Rodney Moore. I was his apprentice. I was cleaning the mats whenever he was away overseas with fighters. I was running the gym, I was cleaning the gym, I was counting the money and separating them. I was doing everything for him. I was the only other person with a set of keys. It was just him and me. I was his little right hand man. So I got cramped up there. So sorry, what was that question? You mentioned you started to get into a bit of trouble. Yeah.
So I'm just curious, was it friends and things like that?
I was just so involved, and it just took over my life. And then when I turned 18 and that, I was like I just went a wee bit wild. Like, I say, the relationships at the time, you're only young, you have your first heartbreak and stuff, like, you think it's the end of the world, so you start resolving into alcohol and drugs and partying, and I was in and out. Like, I wasn't going crazy and just off the rails. I was still training. Yeah. But I was
training Monday to Friday, partying Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah, and then there was times I was just fighting to get money just to go party a weekend. I would fight. Yeah, I would have won some, I would have lost some. But at that time, I was like, obviously I was good on that. But like, as soon as I got out of the fight, I was straight out partying and it was fine. I remember one time I was at a party and I heard a couple of the older fellas I knew, and like I was just going wild, bro. I was proper going wild at this stage, and I heard one of them saying like, "Fuck, Alan's." They call me Wee Philpott. Like, Wee Philpott's let himself go, hadn't they? And I heard that, and I was just like, "Fuck!" Like, these other people's noticing this now. Like, it just sort of clicked with me. Do you know what I mean? And then it just was like, right, pull your reins in and get back on track. Yep. So crazy life, man. The MMA is hard. Like, it is hard. It's not like easy, especially the financial side of things, and that makes things a lot harder too. And coming from a place where I come from, it's like there's not real. Everyone's just surviving. It's just like a town full of zombies. You know what I mean? And
is there a lot of like, I guess people punching on in the street? And
used to be more like religion based. So it's like I'm wearing a Rangers football team. Like that's Protestants, and there's a Celtic which is Catholics. People would have grew up just for wearing that. You've been fighting with people, and wow. Like, so stupid. Like, do what? I've never fought over religion once in my life. I've ruffled a few fellers with other fighters, especially the whole Ireland and Northern Ireland thing, because they call it All Ireland, where if you're from Northern Ireland growing up, if you're growing up in a Protestant community, it's Northern Ireland, which is what it is. But without getting too into depth, that's the way it is. Protestants say Northern Ireland, Catholics say whole Ireland. It's just stupid stuff. But now it's more of a drug war than it is religion. Like, yeah, it's just. It's got really bad. It's just more about who's got the most power and money, and people watching TV programs and listening to gangster rap, and they think they are proper gangsters, and then they go out and try and carry it onto the streets. And the thing of it is, the people who are doing this, mate, they're not wet wipes. Like, they couldn't be at the snow or rope. Do you know what I mean? Like, I grew up with a good crowd of mates and we could all fight. Like, there was boxers there, with myself, MMA, and a couple of ones were just hard men, like hard boys. That was half the problem too, was because, like, if something did kick off, like, it was always like a crowd and that, and like we were always coming out on top, and like that. Half the time I was pulling people, my own mates off. I stopped drinking after a while because it seemed every time we were out we were getting in scuffles. So my thing was drive. So, like, as soon as we were finished, I could drive home.
Just get out.
Get out. Because I don't want to hurt people on the street. No, I don't want. If you have a problem with me and you want to fight me, come in the gym. We'll have a fight. Like, we'll fight. We can do whatever you want, any roles you want, but we'll do it in the gym where take two men. Don't need to go out and hit somebody in the street and then they die or something. Like, saying that,
hit the concrete.
Yeah, I mean, that's my biggest fear too. Like, so then, I was just a matter of fact, I was just like trying to keep my head down, and it was for years I never drunk at all. Like, never ever drunk. And then now I'm a wee bit older, and I just be like, go out for a couple of beers and stuff. It's a full 360.
So then, what about your family? So how did they feel about you getting really into MMA and all that sort of stuff?
Well, obviously, it's nerve wracking for my mum. Like, Dad's obviously supportive too, but things are different there. My mum's been the one who's been with me the whole time, and like, she's seen how good it is for my life and how, like, my mates are
discipline.
Yeah, like, I've got mates that went down the wrong road. Like, some mates are dead. Some are just all over the place. I've got some are really good, settled, and stuff like that. But I was about, like I said, I was always a wild child and stuff, and there was only one way I would have ended up. Like, I would have ended up down that wild way. And MMA gave me a good life, man. It gave me a good path. I met some amazing people. I've been traveling all over the world. And like I say, fighting so much when I was young. Like, in the first 2 years I had 17 amateur fights. Well, that's from 16 to 18. So, and then that's obviously when things went a wee bit wilder. But it's still always been the way to pull me in and get me back on track. And it has given me a good life. And like I say, it took a wee bit longer than expected or wondered, but I'm at a position now where I'm pretty well respected. I respect people. It's disciplined me a lot. Like, I don't ever get in trouble. I'm not innocent. I'm far from innocent, but I keep my head down, and I know what's really right from wrong. And like, with MMA, I know it can take me and give me a good life if I knuckle down and do what's needed to be done. To be honest, and as my mum, that's all she ever wants. Like, she just wants for me and my big sister to have a good life, be happy, and get through safe. And with MMA, that can do most things for me. And like I say, she's proud of me. Obviously, I'm traveling the world, I'm fighting. My dad and my uncles and stuff, they're obviously proud. I'm the last one carrying the name at the minute for the fighting side. Like, until I have hopefully sons, and then they can carry on. But so it's like they are happy and they are proud. Obviously, they get nerve wracking when they fight. Like,
has Mum ever come to watch you fight?
Oh, she never missed one, mate. Her and my big sister were my best two fans, and they're probably the reason why I'm still fighting. Yeah, because there was times where I was just getting too much, and I was like, obviously the money side, and I was just like, going to have to leave, and then they're like, nah, like, we'll make it work, we'll sort it out, you just have to scrape by. And because my mum and my sister is probably why I keep going, to be honest. And my sister's over here too, so
she's come over as well.
She's over here 4 years, I'm here 5. So she hasn't missed many fights. My mum's missed a few now, obviously, me being away, and the ones in Asia they've all missed. But
would Mum want to come over, or
eventually? Maybe. Like, my granny, she's 93 and she's still kicking about. Like, so my mum helps look after her. But maybe down the line, that's the plan. Like, obviously that, like, we're her two babies and we're here, so that would work. And then she separated from my dad when we were like 12, 13, 14, around that. And my dad's got my little sister and that now. So no, there's nothing really holding my mum back. She's got her partner. They could both come over and set up shop. And ideally, that's what would be great. Like, because I need somebody to tidy my room regularly.
So then, what about your relationship with your dad? Like, was that strained for a period of time?
Yeah, do you know what? Like, me and my dad were young, or when I was young, it you know, because he was in the army and that, he was always away, and and then when he was home, it was like he was a football manager, so he was always doing stuff, and he was never really about as much. Well, he was supportive in the way he always made sure we had what we wanted type thing, and you know, that was his way of showing support, and when really we were looking for presence and love, to be honest.
That's
this is only over the last couple of years I've actually learned that, and it has been me working with different mind coaches and stuff. Like I said, it has been major benefits, but one of the things was the reason why I'm constantly looking at attention and always active is because I never got off him.
From your dad,
yeah, which was a big like, wow, that's deep. It's deep.
It's one of those things that a lot of guys get carried away with, and so before, when I was in the automotive industry, it's almost like a statistic where like there'd be guys that would get divorced and end up dating somebody or marrying somebody in the dealership because you're always there. It's like a business that's open 7 days a week.
Well, that's it. Like he was, we're not going into details, but that's sort of similar to what happened with Dad. Like after he left, he got married and started his family, and then for my little sister, she's a little fighter herself. Like she's over 70 operations. She's got a thing called Apert syndrome. Apert, it's a very rare syndrome. It's about the bone structure and the head growth and the internal. It's very severe. But no, that's sort of not took my dad away as such, but like it's been hard. They've had to give 100% attention to her, which obviously we want anyway. Like she's our little sister. Me and my big sister love her just as much as we love each other. There's no difference there, even though we have a different mum. But like that was sort of. He was never really there for us and such, and now we're older and stuff. I know deep down he probably does regret it a bit, because he does try, but it's just like
it's something that plays.
It's just not there. Do you know what I mean? It's not, and like I've noticed that recently. Like no, it's just not there. He's not the dad to be loving and caring and always there. Like he's been to a few of my fights where my mum hasn't missed one. She's travelled to England and everything. Like she's give us everything she could.
Well, a lot of the time, our parents probably didn't get it themselves either. Like they're sort of
well, my granddad, who was my hero, like I was his blue eyes. I couldn't have done anything wrong. Even when I was in the wrong, I wasn't in the wrong for my granddad. Like he done everything he could for me.
Grandparents always spoil the grandkids, so they don't have to live with the consequences. And sometimes it's because they're regretful about things that happen with their own kids.
He was very hard on my my dad and my uncle. Like my uncle was the boxer, so one time, because the army, he was saying bad stuff about my granddad in the army, and my uncle broke his jaw and got arrested in the army, and then had to leave. Wow. And my granddad was just so ashamed, because that's our name, that's our family name, and respect and all that. And it wasn't until many years later that he found out why my uncle done it. Yeah, do you know what I mean? So I think that was maybe the turning point for him. They realised, like, no, they're my kids and stuff. And I think that's probably why he was so good to me. And then because I followed the boxing at a young age, he was the coach at the gym I used to box at. Yeah. And then he left, and then he came back. Even when I left, he was still up there. Like, he was the man. Like it's mad, like, because the stories my dad and my uncle tell me about him compared to the man we know is just crazy. Like no, he was the best. And no, actually, there's a lot of me that's like him in many ways. Like the career, like how I was in school was basically how he was in school, just a wee shit and that. Like we weren't bad people. We're not a family known to get in trouble with the police or go and start fights with people. But like no, we've had fights and the people know who we are. But we got respect because we respect people too. Like and that all comes from my granddad and my dad. Like saying that, like as much as my dad wasn't there, and I feel like he didn't tell me much. There has been a few things that he has said that's really stuck, and like Vittorio, it wasn't as back in the day telling me stuff. It's not until now I'm actually realising it and appreciating it. And I also have to thank my dad for the way he was is the way I don't want to be. So like now it's taught me what not to be like. You know what I mean? Like that's why I didn't join the army, because they all joined. I didn't want to be the way they wanted to be. You know what I mean? I want to be a good person who can provide for my family, and if I ever have kids, like I'll never leave them. Like they'll so maybe if he. And same as with girlfriends and partners, like I have a respect them when I'm in a partner. I don't cheat. I wouldn't cheat. Because he had an affair. Like if he didn't have that, maybe I would have been that kid. Maybe I would have been messing around with girls and and breaking hearts and stuff. And that's not fair either. Do you know what I mean? So there's a lot of positives to take away from it as well.
I think also having a sister, it helps you with that sort of perspective as well.
She can drive me crazy, but I mean, she's hard work at times. But nah, like she's she's my number one as well. Like so, yeah, having a big sister would have helped as well. But even though it didn't matter if she was a sister or a brother, we used to fight. Just as evenly. She'd have pulled me around the room with my hair. I'd have flipping come at her, punched her, or whatever. But
I'm glad you say that because my kids, yeah. So my oldest daughter Cadence and the middle child, so Harley, my son, they punch on like no tomorrow. And it's funny because when you're out in public, everybody always gives us compliments on, oh, your children are so well mannered and all this sort of stuff. But then as soon as like they're in the house, the door closes. It's like you know, they're just poking at each other, trying to get a rise out of each other.
That's family about me. Even like this year, my mum was here at Christmas. Or first time in 5 years we've had Christmas ago, and we still arguing and fight like we did with kids. You know, me and my mum's like, I come over the whole way across the
just to watch you do.
I was like, well, that's what we are. That's what we do. Like you say, you take it out on the people you love the most.
Yeah.
So I suppose it's better arguing and fighting with them when we know we're going to get over it than somebody in the street and you don't know what's going to happen. Do you know what I mean? Or it can end up serious or so. Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay, talk me through, so when you went over to Italy, how many years did you spend there?
No, Lanzarote.
Oh, Lanzarote.
Yeah, it was 6 months only in total. I was only there like half a year because unfortunately I met, I don't think I might as well not call her names, but like I met a girl and I came back for her, but that was a big mistake. That was a big mistake in a way, but at the same time, obviously another learning curve.
Yeah.
But no, I wish I would have stayed a wee bit longer with Vittorio, and I wish I could have understood what he meant by them things and got more out of him too. Obviously, now he's passed away, and it's just like fuck, like I didn't get them extra times that I probably could have. But it was a really good learning curve. I was doing like different types of training. It was mostly kickboxing and stuff he was focused on, and the Muay Thai. Well, it did do MMA, but he got cancer really years before I was there. And then so he had one last fight when I was there, and I was the one helping him getting ready for it and training. And then after it was about me sort of starting to take the gym a bit more, and it was like teaching people who couldn't even speak English, just showing them their Spanish. So I just we were like communicating through me showing them what to do, and that was good. But yeah, like 6 months, learned a lot, done a lot. Like he lived away out in the country, and I mean in the mountains. It used to be like a big watershed that they turned into a house, and so we were like building a garden, like chicken pens out of rocks, and like, all this farming stuff, painting outside the big square blocks, and it was proper like old school Rocky type training, but at the same time we were actually working for his house.
Yep.
And then we're just running hills and a lot of that type of stuff, and that was good, mate. Because I remember too, like before I moved back, like I was in a really good place because I had a fight. I took it at 66, and it was a bantamweight this time, but I took it at 66 because I don't want to keep cutting the big weight. And I won in 50 seconds, and then the week later I got a call. Before I was meant to return to Lanzarote, I actually got a call from Cage Warriors to step in a late notice, in 6 days notice, against Chris Edwards, who was supposed to be the next UFC fighter to go, or the next UK fighter to go to the UFC. So I was never supposed to win that, and I butchered him. Like that was the turning point in my career there. Like because everybody wrote me off. People from Ireland, people from UK, just saying that I shouldn't take it, blah blah. Very strong grappler. This was the plan, to keep it on the feet. End up taking him down, splitting him open, and then taking his back. So that was 2 fights inside 7 days. 166, 161, 2 high level pros, 1 Irish, 1 UK, and then I went back to Lanzarote, and it was like, right, where do we go next? And then end up moving back home eventually after that.
So when you came back home, did you find it like obviously you came back for a relationship, but did you sort of feel a bit out of place because like you had started to create this life for you?
Nah, not really, because the whole time I was away, I was still always keeping in touch with people, and I had been back and forth a couple of times because it's only like 4 hours away from home.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So it was easy to just get a flight back. I was like going back a couple of times in between, and but I fell just straight back into normal life basically, and it wasn't long enough for a big change.
So what did you do anything else for work, or you just always in the gym?
Nah, so like I was painting, and then I was in the gym, and then I was car washing, I was window cleaning, I was just doing bits of everything, just in and out. And then I was a salesman for like not sports and engineering equipment and stuff for a while, and then it didn't work, and then I was just got stuck into PT, and then I moved from Northern Ireland to what was that? Would have been 6-7 years ago. I moved from Northern Ireland to Liverpool, England. So I started doing the same there. I just started doing PTs and coaching, and then right through, and it wasn't until this year, last year, sorry, I got back to work and left the coaching side of things and trying to do a different avenue, just because one of the biggest things is the financial struggle when you're doing full-time MMA, and especially in Sydney, mate, I guess is crazy.
Yeah.
Like, it's got really hard. So I can't work, train, coach, and fight. Like, I have been doing a few PTs at the weekends with like friends and some of the team members, just to sort of get a wee bit extra cash, and hopefully I can build up and start laying off like a bit of work, so I can find that happy medium.
But it's also, there's two components to it, right? Like, so when you're doing PTs, I think what some people don't appreciate is that you are still taxing your nervous system. Like holding pads, you're still doing reactions, you're doing all the drills. You're getting basically another workout in, even though you might not be directly doing the work. So
it's more the mental side I find tiring me. It's like, what I was finding was mentally draining me. So then when I was coming to train, I was there, but I wasn't fully there. Yeah. And that's one thing that, again, from this campus, it's sort of from the Diego campus carried through. Like, Diego camp, it was only the start of that camp was when I just started working, but I had so much stress. I was like either on somebody's sofa, or I was in my car, and like I did start a job which was an hour drive every day, and then like an hour and a half on the way home in traffic, and it was draining, bro. It was like, and it was hard work. But I was like, nah, doing what, I'll get through it. And like, no, and it didn't, obviously in the fight, like I say, well, that wasn't what affected me. Like, the fight was good. I just made mistakes. But no, now it's like, no, I feel the job's not as draining. It's a lot closer. Yep. It's not as taxing. I've got a lot more freedom. So.
Well, I think some, like a lot of guys that are in the MMA scene that want to fight, generally have like physical labor style jobs, like whether it's landscaping or cleaning, like they do all these sorts of things. And I always think it's interesting because it's actually, unless you're doing things in really bad form, or you're always lifting like really heavy objects, like all those things can actually be really good for your training as well.
Yeah,
it's good for your body.
That's it too. Right? Like, and you have to, you can turn some of it into training. Do you know what I mean? So no, it does have, like I say, there is benefits there too.
I used to turn everything into training. Like even a trip to the dentist would be training for me. So if when the dentist is there drilling in your teeth, and for some people, like they tense up, and I'm there, and I'll try and, like, you can feel the tension in your own body, right? Like, so what would happen is, like, you might feel like you're holding your hands, but then you notice that you're grabbing it a bit tight because you're anticipating the pain. And so to me, like, that's a bit of mental training. It's like, definitely. Okay, let's try and relax here and breathe through this and understand.
Yeah, I have their moments and some things I do, to be honest. There's some things I would do in that, but same time, I try and switch off whenever I'm not here. It's hard when you're in fight camp, though. It's hard. It's hard to switch off, but like if I kind of try and switch off when I'm out here, and and then when I'm in here, switch on, and I feel like it's been a lot better. It's been more funner too. Like, I'm here when I'm here, this is the MMA world. No, it's good. Yep. And then when I'm out, I'm trying to do different things. That's like yesterday. I was away at the Blue Mountains and stuff, and I haven't really had a chance to do much lately because I have been so busy and with work and training and whatnot. But no, now we're getting close to the fight. Yep. Things are tapering off a little bit. It's all quality work over quantity now, and
that's it.
So it's like I'm getting a wee bit more extra time to do a wee bit more stuff, and I want to use that stuff valuable and just go away, just switch off. Like after today, I'll go same thing. I'll go for a snorkel, a swim. Yep. When you're doing that, you're not thinking about fighting.
No, of course not.
Saying that though, trying to go under and hold my breath, and like, that'll benefit me.
Good for the cardio.
So it's trying to get out of that type of mindset, bro.
So, what was the reason for the move to
Australia?
No, to Britain first.
Obviously Liverpool, England. I was training back and forth with Dean Garnett and the team at Aspire Combat Sports, and I just was like, I didn't have anything much left in Northern Ireland to stay for. You know what I mean? And it was like, it's time for a change, and I feel like I want to progress and get better, and that's what happened. I went there, and then from there, we were supposed to have a fight. I had a fight in the Gold Coast. We were meant to stay here for 3 weeks. Came 3 weeks early, and meant to stay for 3 weeks after.
Yep.
That was 5 years ago, and I'm still here. So I was like, I'm not leaving.
Yeah. You came here, experienced the weather, of course. You know, in the Gold Coast.
I was only going to stay here and work, get money, and then go home.
Oh, really?
If I was only going to do the whole couple of years thing.
Yep.
You know, just as like take a wee break from fighting, make some money, get in front, take some money back home, and things will be a lot easier. But end up just staying here, and building a life here. And I was home in July, first time 4.5 years, and I now know like this is home for me. Like if it wasn't for my family, my mum, I probably would never even go home to visit. To be honest.
Yep.
Like if it wasn't for people to see.
Yep.
Because there's nothing in there that excites me or inspires me, or that's a lie. The only thing would be to go and get back and try and build a strong gym and get the community and try and give them something that we got here, and you know, try and get the kids off the street and that. But not everybody wants to train and fight and stuff, so it is harder. And the money side of things, no one's got money in that, so. No, I don't think
gyms are a hard business.
Yeah, man, definitely.
Yeah.
That's not. It's not really a money maker, and this is something like fitness first or something.
Well, you have to focus. This is where I think a lot of schools get it wrong. You have to really focus on the beginners, the hobbyists. You got to cater to these people that work 9 to 5 jobs, and they're using this as their way to get fit.
Exactly,
right? Because they're the ones that are paying the bills.
Yeah,
right.
Fighters aren't paying.
They ain't paying nothing.
Just about pay their own bills, not buying extra bills.
Yeah. So and especially like fighting for purses is a really tough
I'm
career.
a pro fighter who's fought for world titles, and I'm still working full time. I'm back working full time.
Yeah.
I've hasn't done anything for me financially at all. Like, I've had a couple of fights where I've got good paydays, but like that's a couple of months' wage. That's a good payday. Do you know what I mean? It's like, all right, sweet. There's like 3 months' pay in one go. That'll get me in front for a week or two.
Yeah.
But again, like this is where a lot of people do go wrong, and me in the past as well. Is like I have fought in shows where I do know fighters were getting a lot more than me just because of their management or who they're connected to or stuff, and maybe they've been lower on the card, and I've been fighting main event world title live on TV, and like that used to get to me, and it stared me off, and then I suppose it takes the love away from the sport, and then it becomes I'm not good at anything else. There's nothing else I really know either, so this is the only thing that I know. So I was like, I'm doing it just because, and then lost the love.
So do you have a management team or something? Or?
So Lauren, our gym manager, she's actually done the degree in the sports management side of things, and I'm well versed in the MMA world. I know lots of people. I've got lots of contacts and stuff. The one thing I'm not really good at negotiating type things. Like I say, I get offered contracts now. I'll just sign them just to get fighting and active, and then I'm looking and I'm like, that's shite. Why did I not just look through it or get somebody to talk? So she's starting to talk like the sponsor side of things and the management side of things for me. Like, but I haven't signed no big managements or that, because at the minute I'm fighting for a turn on that. That's not like getting fights isn't really the problem. To be honest, it's not. It's the sponsors and the money side. That's why I need people to talk.
And I agree. I resonate with that so much, because it's even like the same with this podcast. Like, I never really started this podcast to make money or anything like that. But I've had people go and say, "Oh, Johnny, are you taking sponsorships? Are you taking people to can people pay you to advertise and things like that?" And I never really planned to do that. I might have to do that at some point.
Yeah, of course.
Right?
No.
But I always find it weird, because there's two mindsets about it, right? Like, I sort of have this really traditional mindset about a lot of things, where it's like, you can do it for love, right? Like, because you really, really love it.
As soon as the money gets involved too, then it becomes more as well.
Yeah, and then you don't know, like, then you worry about how do people then view where your allegiance is and all these sorts of things when you're taking money from here or taking money from there. Like, does that influence how you think? But that's where having like that third party of somebody actually managing those things for you, because it sounds very egotistical if I was to go and say to somebody, hey, do you want to sponsor my podcast? It's got XYZ. Same thing for a fighter, right? Like,
it's hard to ask for stuff. It is like at the same time, you don't ask, you don't get.
Yeah. Whereas if you actually have somebody that manages that for you, it's a lot easier, because you're one step removed from it. It's not you with your hand out going and saying, hey, would you like to pay me some money, and I'll wear your logo and this and that. You've got somebody who's treating it as they're treating you as a commodity now, you as a business, to go and say,
and they know what angles to cover and like the selling points, and like and they also know what, right, well, if you're going to get that, what you have to give them and stuff. Do you know what I mean? So it is good to have that extra person there.
Yeah, and I think that's actually the biggest lesson or insight that I think anyone that's aspiring to be a pro fighter should be thinking about is that fighting for purses is relatively shit, and it will be relatively shit until you get to like the top 5%.
Yeah, very long time.
So you really need to think about, how are you building your platform, and what are you doing with your platform, right? Like, because if you build up, a social media presence, perhaps that means that you can get, product placements and all these sorts of other things. Or you got to think about, what are the businesses that you actually enjoy, because, everybody's career is finite in fighting, and that's why I say, you really got to enjoy all of these moments.
That's it, and I didn't for a long time, and there were, like I say, a lot of things were getting in the way, and it's like at the point where like, no, that's what it is about. At the end of the day, if I don't get where I want to get, at least I know I've tried, and I'm covering the angles that I was caught on before. So, that's the main thing, is being able to enjoy it and see how far you can get.
Yeah. So, can we talk about like that? You mentioned a low point before about you're living out of your car.
Last year,
yeah. So
it was a mad one.
What happened?
I was here, but like I had an apartment and it was just riddled with mold, and every time we kept getting it fixed, and we tried to like report it, and the owner, not even that, like whoever owned the house, she was just not bothered. She didn't care. She didn't want to fix anything. I got to the point where I was getting so molded, the actual cupboards fell off the wall because of the rotten wood. But I was at home, so me and my mate were living there. I went to Singapore for Josh's fight.
Yep.
And then from there I went home because of my mate's wedding. And while I was home, the lease ran out, and I was like, I'm not going to sign a new one. Like, they actually asked. It was coming up, so they says like, no, they'd rather we don't sign it. And I said, yeah, I'm not going to sign it and move in there. Like, you're not even doing the work.
Yeah.
So then my plan was, at the time it wasn't that hard to get places. So I was like, look, I've got my bond and stuff. When I come back, I'll just set up shop. I've got friends and stuff. I can stay away for a week or two. But that didn't work out like that, because at the minute, mate, it's just so hard to get places to live, and like everyone's struggling. And I'm not going to move away out Penrith and way out west. Like, this doesn't make any sense whatsoever. I didn't come here to live in them areas. You know what I mean? Like, I'd just go home.
Yep.
If only living. To be honest, I don't want to live in there. So I couldn't get anywhere. I couldn't get anywhere to live. My dog, I was on my mate's couch, but he's got a male dog. And when my dog went on heat, she wasn't the sex at the time. So it was like, fuck. The places I could have stayed all had like male dogs. Yeah. And it just drove them crazy. Like, even my sister, she had a male dog. I stayed there for a while, but it's not fair on the two dogs either. Do you know what I mean? It's not. So then I was leaving. I was on the ex-girlfriend's floor. She was no supportive, and it was good. Like, it was like there was people offering like types of help in there, but it was like I was a burden. It just wasn't working out, and especially because the dog was on heat, I had to be on her 24/7 to make sure the blankets were down. Like, because this isn't my house, and then had like people carpeting and stuff, and like. I had a friend. He had an extra room. He offered me, but he's like I can't. I spent $5,000 on it. Like. Furniture, and I don't want the dog to ruin it. Is there nowhere the dog can go? And like, I wouldn't leave my dog, mate. Like, there's no way I'm leaving my dog. She's everything to me. Like, the most important thing I have in my life is my dog.
What breed is she?
She's an American Staff. She's the best, mate. She's the best dog ever. But then it's just and then there was you've got all these mates, that you so-called mates and friends and stuff, and then. Everyone's, okay, if you need anything, blah, blah, but, well, fuck, I'm homeless. I wouldn't mind a fucking little help, an extra room or something, but, no, people have their own lives too, and I wasn't going to put it on people. Like, I'm not going to stress people. Like, people have their own lives. We working, and, like, the home is their home. You know what I mean? When you go home, that's your place, and I just couldn't get anywhere to live, mate. So I was sleeping in the car, and then I had the money at the time, but then as time went on, like, the money started chipping away, and then I finally got somewhere like 3 months later. Like, sorry, I was in the car and it was getting hard, bro. It was getting hard.
How long were you living in the car for?
Fuck, I can't even mind. It was like 3 months in total between sofas, my car, to be honest.
And so where would you park to sleep?
Just finding I was just finding places, mate, to be honest. It was
really?
Just like, just fucking near the beaches and stuff, and just little side roads. And
was there other people doing that as well? Like, did you ever run into other people?
Nah, I didn't see anyone else there. Nah, mate. Just me and my dog. But yeah, it was tough, mate. It was very tough. Like, I was just like, that happened, and I came home and I was actually coaching in a paid coaching job. I came back and like because of COVID and stuff, it just absolutely ruined the gym.
Yeah.
So I was just like, I lost that coaching job. I was homeless. I was like, my fighting career was like, was that after Justin or before Justin? That would have been after the Justin fight. So it was coming off a loss. No, there was just everything that could have went against me was going against me. But again, no, I was just like, I knew it wasn't going to last forever. I was grateful I actually had a car, but there's people out there that didn't have a car, didn't have anywhere to live, and no, I could still go to I was still coming to the gym to get a shower. I was still eating. You know what I mean? There was still like, it was a lot more worse than me. As much as it was hard, it wasn't like the end of the world. It was just a very hard time, and I knew it wasn't going to last forever. Yeah. So I just kept chipping away until my mate Dave, he's like, nah, you can't sleep in your car anymore, mate. Like, he was on night shift at the time. He had a big couch that turned into a bed, so it worked perfect because when he was home in the day, I was out all day, and then when he was out at night, I would have been there. So it was like, it was never in his way anyway. Yeah. And then maybe a couple of hours in the daytime, but like, it was good for him because we were company. And then like, my dog, anyone that meets my dog, you get attached. So then he was taking the dog walks and stuff, so I wasn't having to take her to work all the time. Yeah. No, it was good. Then I finally got somewhere. We got the bond down, and 2 days later, I'd noticed my dog wasn't right, and I thought it was maybe just the whole moving around and nowhere to live, because they're sensitive. And the next thing, she wasn't going to the toilet a lot, and like, it's not like her. I know my dog inside out. I just I knew something was wrong. Left it a couple of days, tried different things. Upped her foot a wee bit to try and see if it would go to the toilet more. Nothing happened, and then she went, and it was like pure black, like, and that means cancer, blood, something bad. Yeah. So they're all right. I wasn't financially in a good place now because I'd been chipping away. So I went, and then the nurse rang me back and says, yeah, like, this is pyometra. Pyometra's it comes in older dogs that aren't D6 because she's 4, and it's really severe that overnight it can kill them. Oh wow! And I was like, fuck me, what am I gonna do? Yep. So it's just like, whatever we need to do. I'll find a way. So no, I got myself, had to lend money and stuff, which finally, like, I actually worked off. Lucky I had a job to be able to pay people back, or I'd have been screwed. But she went through a serious operation, and then this is when I'm living on my mate's couch. So I'm like, fuck, I'm trying to get ready for a fight. Yeah. I'm up the wall with my dog because I've just been told that it's a very, very serious condition she just had. I'm already stressed to the 9 because of fucking don't have my own house. No, my money's starting to dip down again. No, I don't even have enough for a bond at this stage. It's just like, where the fuck did I go? Like, what have I done? Do you know what I mean? Like, how did it go from having a house, job, and I had a comfortable life, you'd say. Like, I was getting by week by week just by coaching and training, but I was happy, mate. You know what I mean? I was going to the beach 2 times a day. I was getting my training in, and then I was still coaching. Maybe it wasn't training the way I am now, but at the time I was happy. You know what I mean? I was enjoying life. Yep. How did I end up then? I remember just thinking, how the fuck did I end up here? Like, what has happened? I was so confused, bro. Like, cause I don't know. And I think maybe, obviously, there's a reason for it. I have turned it all around. No, I paid off some debts. I've got a house. No, I'm working. Like, things. I don't have the luxury of going to the beach all day, every day, but I have a nice, comfortable life now where, I'm doing me. And I feel like it's really made me stronger as a person, but also really made me appreciate more and see things a lot more clear and a lot more different. And, like, now I can understand people a lot more, like, especially the boys and stuff, and they used to come training after work, and like they're a bit tired now. I was like pushing them and stuff, but now I'm like, like, I know now how you feel. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I know, even though I'm doing more than them, like, obviously I'm getting in and doing fight camp training before work, going to work, and then fight camp training, like, that is different, but they're still making an effort to come in here. Yeah, they're showing up. And continuously. You know what I mean? And then they have to go home and cook and stuff too, and it's like, it's made me see things a lot more clear, and, like, obviously changed me as a person, and, like, I feel more calmer and relaxed, I think, now, because I was going through all that. Now that I'm not, I'm just like, well,
it's almost reset.
Yeah, but I feel like that was the lowest point of my life, bro. Like, there's only one time it was probably lower in the past, but that was, like, really, really low. But never once did I feel like I wanted to kill myself, or like that was me forever, or anything. Actually, no, I was just like, all right, this is fucking literally rock bottom. Like, there's only one way to go, and it's up. Do you know what I mean? I can't go any further. So it's like, the only other thing was get deported. Do you know what I mean? That was literally, that was what I was waiting for. My visa to get declined or something. I'm like, fuck me. That's the last thing I need. But, no, and then I just grew, bro. Just put my head down, done what I needed to do to get to where I need to be right now. And, no, now I'm at that base. Now it's getting to the next level and getting to the next further stage in life.
I always wonder, you know, when people are usually at their worst points, you know, that's when the idea of prayer comes to mind. You know, like because you're in this low point. Did you ever think,
yeah,
you know, God, what are you doing to me?
Yeah, I did, bro. I did. I said some prayers too. Like, no, mate's girlfriend, she's very religious, and one thing that she always was like every time something was wrong, she'd have prayed and stuff. And you know, I did say prayers, and I don't know if they worked or not, but something did. And like, I'm not a religious person. Religion really confuses me, to be honest with you.
Especially when you see all the conflict that it's caused in
you know what
Ireland,
I mean? Like,
right?
it's just very, very weird. But no, I knew there was something. I think there's something. I don't know anything, to be fair, but I think there's something. I had this feeling, and I was just like, help me, like, you know, like, just please, just someday or something, just to make sure that I don't sink anymore. Like, just make sure that, right, this is it, and I just fucking, it's time to get up now. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, it definitely feels like it
does, bro.
now.
It does, definitely. I am, like, don't say I can talk about it openly. It's sweet. It's not like I talk about it and fall in a depression mode. Like, no, it is what it is. It's actually a bit inspiring to myself. Dude, sometimes I forget how far I come. Like, you know what I mean? And like, to go in and perform against the Ego the way I did, going through all that, you know, shows that I do have the mindset and the mentality and the skill set. No, it's just like there's still a few things that I wasn't doing in camp, and probably due to that, and I was injured as well. Like, you know, I had a bad rib the whole camp.
Yep.
Going in the fight, no injuries, no excuses, no nothing. He beat me fair and square. But yeah, so we're here now and ready to go again. And you know, I'm at a different stage in my life, and every time, as much as the fights keep going back, I feel like I'm going forward, which is weird, because I'm sure people are sick of me hearing me saying, right, this is my time, or or this is the one, or I feel amazing, or this is the best camper in the best shape, and that's maybe true, maybe it's annoying, but like, I genuinely feel that every camp. Like, no, I mean, I feel so much better this than I did the last two.
Yeah.
You know
Well, as long as you're always growing, you know, this is the thing. And I got actually, you know, I credit Josh Saunders with this, because I did a podcast with him. And he's got a very intense mindset. So, he's trained for 2 years, made it to ADCC.
Yeah, bro.
Right, and like
that's his thing too. I think he is actual mental coach and stuff as well.
Yep. So so he's got a podcast. So shout out to Josh. It's Mindset Matters. I actually listened to it as well, because, you know, I thought, you know, I need to do a bit of research on this guy as well. But his mindset is so intense. Like, I would almost call him, he's like a time traveler, right? In the sense that his belief in himself is so strong that it's only a matter of when, not if. Right? It's only a matter of when he's going to achieve his goals, not if. And so his big thing is that, you know, he's set himself up with the things that he does in his routine, that no matter what happens, he will eventually reach the destination. You know, and he uses the analogy, if I start walking west, you know, eventually I'm going to make it to Perth. Right? It doesn't matter how long it takes me. It might take me 2 years, it might take me 3 years, it might take me whatever amount of time. But the point is, as long as you keep walking in that direction, you will achieve your goal. Now, the caveat, I think, on that is that, you know, Father Time is always there, right? So when it comes to things like fighting and a fighting career, like, there is a time where you got to say, hey, you know, I can't keep walking in this direction, because if I keep walking in this direction, you know, I'm probably going to lose my senses, you know, like whether it's CTE or whatever else. And you got to look at, you know, how the body is holding up. But you know, you got to also think about, you know, what are the things that, if you enjoy martial arts and being in the martial arts world, okay, what are the other things that you can do in this world, right? And so that's where, you know, I know that you've gotten your hand into a little bit of promotion as well.
So I'll give a little hand. Well, give a hand more than I'm not the promoter or the matchmaker as such, but I help match the fights for Silverback Fight Series, which is, again, it was an amateur show, which was, the first one was unbelievable. We got our second one around April time we're looking for, so that'll be interesting. No, straight after the fight, and then I can focus a wee bit on helping the guys get them fights and
get them ready.
Gives them a platform. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to get involved, was to help the platform for my own guys, to make sure that they are getting the right fights on and opportunities.
No, it's amazing thing that you know, martial arts in Australia seems to be, you know, I feel like we're in a new wave where there's so much happening.
Definitely, especially with like Whittaker and Foganowski and then all the boys riding, like Josh and Jimmy Malarkey, and you know, just big things are happening over this side of the world.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Okay, let's can we switch gears a bit?
Yeah.
Relationships.
Yeah.
I'm just curious on your perspective on them, because you mentioned, you know, obviously you made a few mistakes and things like that, but and obviously, you know, you didn't have a great role model in your dad either.
Yeah.
But you know, I guess for you, like, how has that sort of influenced how you approach, you know, your relationships? And you made a great point before about how, you know, going back to work and working, and you changed your relationship with the guys that go to work and come into training, and you appreciate that a lot more. I guess I just wanted to sort of talk a little bit about that in terms of, you know, how you feel you've grown in terms of managing your relationships with people and things like that.
Yeah, definitely. That's one of the problems, was I was too invested in other people too and giving too much to everybody. And everybody was telling me, you know, step back, start focusing a wee bit more on myself, and you know, start being a little bit selfish and with my time and energy, and you know, but yeah, like, do you mean girlfriends and stuff, or
like all sorts of relationships? Like,
I don't know. That's a hard one. Like, you know what I mean? I'm not. I've had some great partners. It just hasn't worked out. You know what I mean? Now it's like, no, if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. It is what it is, type thing. It's not the end of the world. It's not the only fish there. You know what I mean? There's plenty more fish in the sea, and like, if it's not meant to be, it's not meant to be. My thing is what's for you won't go past you. Yeah, it hurts when you break up, or no, it's annoying whenever you want to be with someone and it doesn't work out and stuff, and no, especially if it's a lot of silly things. But for me, I'm just really, it's probably where I'm very protecting myself when it comes to that. No, like, I am, no, me and my ex-girlfriend, we're very good friends. We're back and forward and stuff, and it's just anytime there's anything at all, I'm just like cut off type thing. And you know, it's just like, I just really want to stay focused. I can't be bothered by like external things affecting my life anymore. I really just want to have a nice, happy life. Just I'm not where I want to be in life, and I feel like I'm not set up within myself. So it's not fair to be with someone else, because like, it's an extra stress on me, and it's like, especially in the fighting life, unless they're fully involved in this life, or they're ready to be involved, it's not fair either. Because especially when I'm in camp and stuff, no, like, you're tired, your sex drive's low, like, you know what I mean? I just, like, I want to do that. What I would want to go for is just to cuddle me and play my hair. You know what I mean? Like, I just want to go home, have my dinner made, cuddle me, play with my hair, put me to sleep, and that's it. But nah, you can't expect that. You know, it works two ways. Yeah. I mean, like, they deserve to be happy and treat it and get nice things, go for dinner and go on holidays, go and do stuff. And like, I'm not in the position in my life to be doing that right now. Do you know what I mean? Financially, and because of my career wise, like, I want to be, this year I want to fire out, like, boom, boom, boom. I'm just all about the fighting now again. Do you know what I mean? It's been a long time since I've had that. Obviously, when I fell off track and had girlfriends, that's why it was working. And I'm a kind of guy, like, I'm very romantic. Like, you know, it's, like, I'll make a lot of effort. Yeah. Like, you know, if you're my partner, well, I'll try and do what I can. Like, I'm no angel. Like, I can be hard work at times as well, but I will try. Like, I'll always try and, like, the weekends try and do stuff, try and go places, like, you know, cook food. I always try and cook, like, buy little gifts here and there just to sort of spoil, just to keep the fire, the candle lit as such. But then when it comes to fighting, and that's like the total opposite. Like, no, it's like, I don't have that time and effort, and no, right now I just need to focus on me, to be honest. Like, get to where I need to get to, and then maybe in the next few years settle down, and because I do want kids, I want family and stuff as well, and I'd like them to be part of this journey before it ends. Yeah, but it's just too early now. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm still, if I get kids and all now, like, I would do what I have to do, but I know it would make things a lot more difficult. Yeah. And that's also a big thing, because I'm 30, and like, obviously, if I get a partner, like, they are a bit older, like, it is nearing a couple of years, they do need to have kids because it's harder for them and stuff, which is why I hate taking the accountable too. So yeah, at the minute, I'm just sort of, I'm trying not to lead anybody on, or I'm not trying to mix up with anybody, and because I don't want to give anybody any false hope either.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
I think that's the best way.
yeah,
You know,
I'm young, I've had my fun, mate. Like it's nice to meet girls and stuff, and go have the one night stands or whatever. But after that's done, it's done. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's just energy that I can't really be always given. You know what
Well,
I mean?
I always, so one of the analogies I use is that if you think about your energy bar, you know, like there's 100% in your energy bar. And in each day, you know, you go to sleep and the next day you make up, let's say you had bad sleep, there's still only 100%, right?
Yeah.
That 100% might only be, say, 50 on a scale, and other days might be 80, but like let's say the energy bar is 100%. You know, when you start adding the things that you do throughout your day, you know, it could be something small like deciding what to wear. Okay, there goes 1% of your energy.
Yeah.
You know, it might be deciding what do you eat. There goes 5% of your energy. You go to training. There's 20% of your energy. You know, you go out and hang out with friends or whatever. There's 10% of your energy. Like it all chips away at your energy bar, right? And then even things like playing games. You know, like whether it's playing games on like an Xbox or something like that, or playing computer games. Like all these things take away from your energy bar.
Yeah.
And so the problem is that you know you deplete that energy bar too often, too much. And that's when, you know, things start going astray in terms of, you know, you're at training, but you're not mentally there. You might not be physically there. Like that's where the injuries start, you know, like
100%.
your body's always trying to tell you, you know, whether you pushed it too hard. It always starts with, you tweak your ankle.
Yeah.
And then it's like, that's number one. And I always say it comes in threes. And then you tweak your knee and you go, that's number two.
And your back
and if you,
goes, your neck, or
that's right. Like the third one is going to be the bad one.
Yeah.
Like if you've tweaked something twice or you've had two sort of things, that's your body saying, hey, slow down.
Yeah.
Right? And then, you know, we're all idiots because we
you
all want to
push-
keep going.
You push till it's breaking point.
Yeah, and then you break, and then you go,
Yeah.
fuck, now I'm out for 6 weeks.
Yeah, it's not good either.
Right.
Recovery's a big thing, obviously, too.
So what do you do for recovery?
So I go to the Sydney Sports Recovery for the ice baths, the massaging, needling and stuff. That's really it, to be honest, and try and go to the beach and the water when I can in between. But there's not, to be honest, I don't have much time at the minute. Like, I'm literally flat out between work and training. So, like I say, this camp's been the hardest and toughest camp I've had. It's been good, very good. I'm enjoying every bit of it, but I've been pushing myself beyond limits. Like, the stuff we're doing, me and Josh, it's basic, you know, it's a big weekend for both of us. We're really bouncing off each other too, which is good. But yeah, recovery, I could be doing a lot more. I preach about it. But again, I'm just trying to do what I can do to get me ready to fight.
Yeah. So with your relationship with Josh, like I guess, if you can hear that, there's somebody doing deadlifts or something in the background. So with your relationship with Josh, so that was obviously when you came to Eagles that you met Josh?
No, we actually met at a different gym. We were training and sparring. He was always my hardest round. We were always having tough rounds.
Yep.
And then whenever I was coaching at Legends, he was coming over for the striking.
Okay.
Just the extra rounds and stuff. And that's when I just chatted to him. It's actually, I fought my fight the same time as he made the debut against Jalen Turner in New Zealand.
Yep.
I fought like the Tuesday or Wednesday, and he fought that Saturday. And it was after that we just caught up for a coffee. Like, that was his first loss. It was mine. No, fuck knows how many losses at that stage. Like a cricket score in my record, mate. But no, that was a hard one because it was for that contract and that, and then it was just like after that I was like, where do I go? Do you know what I mean? Like, where do I go from here? Because I was at a high level then. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So that was for the one contract.
Yeah, but I got the one. If I won that, I was getting the contract. Like, but it turned out the contract wasn't it made out to be anyway. So it actually turned out in my favour. And then with the whole COVID thing, I had been signed but not able to fight, and like they're very strict. They wouldn't play ball. Like, one's hard to work with.
Yeah.
I didn't have anything bad with them. Like, they were good to me, and I think it's probably because the two middle fights that I won was too short notice. Yeah. Well, not short. One was 3 weeks. One was 2 weeks. One was 5 weeks. 5 weeks isn't too short of a notice, but after being told I'm not going to be on it, and then told you're on it, it was short enough. So there, after that, we met up, had a convo, we just fucking got chatting, and then he was like, where do I go from here, blah, 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 and he was absolutely destroyed from his first loss too, but no, it was different for him. That was like a no loss, really, because he took it a week above, like a week's notice, and he was fighting one of the biggest prospects in light. We had like 7 people turned down. Do you know what I mean? So that was just one of them, and then we got chatting, and then I was like, what do you think about me coming to IGOR? Maybe I could do a bit of striking and then learn some MMA stuff. And he spoke to coach, and then I met coach for a coffee one time. We had a chat, he was keen, and yeah, just that's what happened. Then we're over 2 years now, I think.
Yeah. So then, can we talk a little bit about your relationship with Johnny Benavides then?
Yeah,
Obviously,
yeah,
he's your striking coach as well,
man.
right? So he was coaching you at Legends, right?
Yeah, so whenever I got the job there to coach the MMA, he had just been brought in to do the kickboxing. We gelled straight away. Like, he was the only coach I had for a couple of years. Like, no, I was traveling all over, like, Central Coast with Ross Pearson, Darby Martin Nguyen and stuff, and doing all the different gyms and sparring, and it was good. It was getting good sparring and good rounds, but there was no learning. But with Johnny, he was learning me striking, so I was learning details and picking up. Yeah, like he's just stood by me from the get-go. You know, like, he didn't really understand MMA as much, but he always tried to learn, and he was very full into it, and like he always told me when things I needed told at the right time and that, and like I say, we're like a brothers straight away. Do you know what I mean? Like he's been great, and he's been with me the whole way, and and between me and him, like we've created a massive team between the IGOR Gym and Legends too, because I also had some MMA fighters that I brought to Legends, that I brought to IGOR's, and then a lot of the fight team here started going to Johnny for extra striking, and now we're one big team and family, and like Johnny deserves to be in the world class level, and like that's why the likes of like Josh and stuff's working with him, because they've seen what he's done for me, and then they want that, and they because they know it works. You know what I mean? So yeah, man, he's the man. He's a good guy. He's one till the end with Johnny, like, therefore.
Yeah. All right. I'm a little bit curious about, when you got signed for the Contender Series, the One Contender Series.
One Warrior
Yeah.
Series.
Well, how did that come about?
So there was tryouts. There was actually tryouts at KMA whenever Martin Nguyen was there.
Really?
Yeah, he was there at the time. It wasn't their tryouts. Yeah. They just used that gym.
They used that gym for the tryouts.
That's where Martin was at the time.
Okay.
But I had previously sparred Martin.
Yep.
And then I was going, I couldn't get any fights or whatever, and it was Brian Ebersol actually got wind of it first. Yep. And I was taking people to XFC and stuff at the time, so me and Brian were chatting, and he told me about it. Yep. And I got an application for it. I remember seeing it, looking at it, and it was like loads to fill out, and I was just like, fuck that, I'm not going to do it. And then I was like, no, well, I haven't had a fight for a year, because after I beat Gustavo Falsaroli, do you know who Gustavo is from Melbourne? He was the number one Aussie. Like, he was the man. Yeah. I beat him. And then I went number one, and I couldn't get any fights. I was getting offered like $1,000. And at that time, I was on a bit better money, so I was like, I'm not going to fight for $1,000. Like, I'm working on that. Come on, like, try it. No, it's hard enough. So things weren't working out. I couldn't get a fight, and I was just being stubborn and not fighting at all. And then after that, I went for the tryouts. Then I filled the forms in, I went for the tryouts, and I got selected then. Oh, sorry, like a week or two later.
Yep. What were the tryouts like?
It's good, bro. It was good, very
sparring,
good.
Or what did they?
Nah, it was like it's funny. Like, I actually think it was the pad work with Johnny that really sent me over the line, because we had to do loads of like drills and stuff. And there was loads of good people there, bro. Like, there was loads of good people there. There was the good grapplers and there was good strikers. MMA, there's not like, it's only recently I believe Australia MMA's became better. They had like, they're very good at different disciplines. Yep. But at that stage, it was still very much good grapplers, good strikers, good wrestlers, good struggling to put it together, where I was putting it together pretty well. We done like loads of different drills, wrestling drills, escapes, stuff like that. But then we done the pad work. And like me and Johnny, if you watch, you should see me and Johnny in the pads. Like, we just sink. Yep. And it was like fucking, like, we knew the eyes. Rich Franklin was there, Martin was there, the eyes were there. We knew what was coming. Like, it was like we had to improve. And by me at the time, he was just videoing it, because I brought a body in case we needed our own body. So he was just videoing it, and we're just flowing, just smashing past. He's not even saying any words. Like, Johnny doesn't tell me what to do. Yeah. He just
holds it up, and
we just know.
Yeah,
we just know. Like, that's what Josh always says. He's like, fuck, I wish I had that flow. But that's just because the years just constantly with him, and he knows me and I know him. Yeah. And as soon as I stopped, like the time we stopped, the whole place just started clapping. And we were like, holy fuck. Because they were just out, like, we were just in the zone, they were clapping. And then my mate showed me the video after, and you see Rich Franklin and Martin whispering and pointing. Yeah. So I was just like, I've got a good chance here. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, so that would have been a nice feeling.
It was great, mate. It was very good, because I was like, fuck, this is it. Like, we're on our way. Like, we're one, after this, it's the big league. Like, one UFC, Bellator, like, they're the top tier. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's now PFL as well. Like, you know, like, they're the top tier. Like, UFC's obviously the top, but like at that level, I was like, fuck, we're near there. And in the first fight, I actually got beat again. I was like, fuck, every time I get so close. Like, and there's obviously something mentally going on at that time that I have addressed over the years, and I feel like now we've chipped it. But it was a sick fight. Like, it was an awesome fight. We got a fight in the night that night, actually. I was walking out of the ring, so down, and the Rich Franklin was just sitting there, and he just looked at me and put his hand out. And he was like, the great fight. And then at the end, they bring you in the ring, and then they were saying, like, if anybody got contracts or that, blah, blah, blah. I knew I wasn't going to get a contract after one fight, and plus I just lost. But then they said fight of the night, and they called out me, and I think it was Ming, not Ming, I can't remember the name, one of the Korean guy, Ming Jong Sung, I think he was that one, and they were chatting about how back and forth, and then like one of the things Rich Franklin said was like, what I want to see, and I seen it on Alan's fight, was like no matter what position he was in, he was constantly looking for the pass, improve, or strike. So when I was in guard, I was throwing strikes or trying to pass. It was just a sick fight back and forth. It was a great fight. So yeah, and then then the next one I got called in a couple of weeks' notice against Zachary Lange. I beat him. That was a good win. And then I fought Ming Young Kim then after, and that's, I'm not sure you've seen it, where I drop and put my hands up, and he's like the Undertaker. He just sits up and I'm just like, fuck it, bang, knee. Like, he's just sitting up, I just knee him and then get the knockout. And then the next one was against Ahmed Fares, and that was the one for the contract. And then that's whenever I got caught in the choke in the first round pretty early as well. And it was just like, fuck, we fucked it. But in hindsight, it's probably worked out better now. Like, I say, there's a lot of changes in my life, like where I'm at now compared to there. Like, there, like, you just thought I was ready for it. No, where now I know I'm ready for it. Like, if I got signed any of the previous years, I could have done okay. I probably would have been in and out. Where now I know, like, when I'm in there, like, I know it's time and I'm staying there. I'm not going to these places just to be a number. Like, it's the time's going to come, and I think that's what's keeping me really going. Like I say, I know it is make or break, and there is always that chance in fighting that you get caught. But no, the Canadian fight, though, like, I'm ready. Like, I'm ready to turn the tide. And
well, what a ride, though. You know, like, you've experienced it all.
That's nothing.
You've been on this ride, and it's like, man, you know, the highest of highs, the lowest of lows.
Literally, bro. Like, literally the highest highs, lowest of lows. But, you know, like I said, there is a lot more. There could be a lot worse. You know what I mean? I'm grateful and thankful for what I do have, and I'm healthy as much as, we get a few niggles here and there. There's a lot more worse out there than me, and again, you sort of take things for granted sometimes, and that's why I keep telling the team, the young guys coming through, and that is like, don't forget to live and enjoy this. Like, just make sure that you enjoy this. This is the main thing. If you're not enjoying this, don't do it. Like, there's no point. You're not made to do it. Like, your life is hard and stressful enough. Yeah. And if it's not now, it's going to be. Yeah. Do not like this on extra stress. And see, because I've been telling them, I think I've actually programmed myself. Yeah. And then that's been, again, like, I was going through all that shit last year and going through everything to make me realise to get to where I'm at. You know what I mean? Some people don't have that. They don't have to get through that to realise that, which is good. Happy days. Yeah. You know what I mean? But there is obviously people like me. It's took me a lot longer to get to where I want to be. On paper or in hindsight, I should have been a lot further. But my actions, my lack of discipline, choices I've made, struggles I've had to, it has stopped me. Like, that's just the reality. Like, my life just hasn't been the way it's meant to be, but it doesn't mean that that's the way it's going to be forever.
Yeah, they're all learnings as well.
Yeah, 100%, bro. Learning, and like I say, I've got 51 fights. My record's not the greatest. It was in 1912 or 1913. Won no contest, but that doesn't mean anything really when you think about it. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm still learning, I'm still adapting, and I'm still getting better. I mean, just because of all these fights and stuff, and I have done it before, doesn't mean that that's it then. Do you know what I mean? Because I feel better now than I ever felt in my life, like, skillful wise. So that's pretty exciting because I've got this far, cutting corners. Yeah. Now you're actually trying to go the pathway. I always I love this concept that I always talk about this. So apologies if people have heard this one before, but I always talk about this idea of infinity, right? So you think about what infinity is supposed to be. Infinity means that, like, there's so many versions, or like there's so many possibilities that there's the likelihood that there's another universe where there's a Alan Philpott and Johnny Yap having this exact same conversation. Like, that exists, right? But then that also, the way I sort of look at it is that, excuse me, is that when I think about every positive or negative thought that I could ever have about something, there is a version out there where that is the case. Yeah. Right? 100%. So,
everybody has fucked up thoughts, and I have plenty of those.
Yeah.
All right, but the difference is, you know, you've got a choice in terms of whether you choose to act up on those fucked up thoughts, right? And by choosing to not, or choosing to be the best version of yourself, right? You know, there's a version out there that would have done the bad thing.
Yeah.
Right? There's a version out there that you know, the goal for me in living in this universe, in this version of infinity, is that I want to make sure that the actions that I take are going to give me the best possible outcome for me.
Yeah, that's it, mate. That's what it's about. Like, it is all down to us at the end of the day.
Yeah.
I mean, it's whatever we do, like you said before, actions and consequences.
Yeah.
That's the way it is. That's just reality of it.
Yeah. Control your inputs, and
man.
whatever the outcome is whatever the outcome.
For sure. Just have to make it, try your best to make it what you want it to be.
Yeah. Well, I'm fucking excited to see you.
Man.
So
Keen fucking
Eternal in a couple of weeks. So
yeah. I'll have a haircut then and a shave.
Looking your prettiest.
Yeah, but fuck.
Be shredded.
Don't know. There's no miracles in this game. I'll be shredded, that's for sure. Like, I'm coming in a lot stronger and better than I've been in the past too. So yeah, it's keen, man. I'm looking forward to the challenge. No, I am honestly taking this so serious. It's nearly like it's my first fight. And that's just hard to believe, because I've had, between all the sports in total, I've had nearly 100 combat fights. But no, I feel like this is the first one to turn, like, where I start turning things around, and you start seeing the real full Alan Philpott.
Yeah.
You know, then that's pretty exciting as well, because like I say, I have fought for titles, I have been close to big contracts. No, I've been entertaining since a long time, 14 years, literally from the get-go, 3 weeks in.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, it's like, now I do believe that my time is coming, and you know, I'm just grateful enough that I do have the people around me to help me push, but also know that I did get in it at such a young age, because I'm only 30 now, about to come into the best years with mad experience.
Yep.
No, so this is it. This is where you're going to see the era of Super Ali, and 2023 is going to be a big year.
So before we finish off, what's the story behind Super Ali? So why that name?
So my dad just used to call me Wee Ali.
Yeah.
I was just like, because back home we don't say little, we'd say wee.
Yeah.
Like, no, like
Tiny. Yeah.
yeah,
Small.
Yeah, we say wee a lot. So he used to always call me Wee Ali, and then just, I don't know, Ali just short for Alan.
Yep.
So when I used to fight, that was the song, was Super Ali, ole, ole, ole. And if you listen to any of my fights, and even on YouTube, if you actually listen to the crowds, you hear it. No, my fights over here, it's all the same. And then I was actually working with a main coach called Dave Naive. He's the same as Adesanya and all the New Zealand boys. He's their main coach as well.
Okay.
Very great, awesome man. Like, he was actually a big part of my game too, changing the last couple of years. Like, I started working with him, and he's really good. Let me seeing things a lot more, and let me enjoy it a lot more. More about that, more about me being me than it was. And then I was like, yeah, go kill him, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Just like, fucking go
Rather
in
than
there.
this persona who you think you are.
Yeah, and his thing was like, with Adesanya, when he fights and stuff, he's a style bender. But see, when he's not fighting, he's Israel. He's playing games. He's doing what he needs to do, and that's what he was with me. And then he was like he just felt that, no, it was good having the apprentice as my name, because I was always like, I'm always learning. But he was like, he feels that, no, it's time to reinvent myself. Like that's good. That was me, but like, that is my apprenticeship.
Yeah.
Like, that was my apprenticeship over, and now it's time. And then it's funny, like, because he was like, can you think of anything? And I was like, fuck me, I don't even know. I was like, no, they call me Super Ali, and he just goes, boom, that's it.
That's it.
He was wearing a Superman top at the time.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, it was weird as fuck. And then he just was chatting, and he's like, this is what you need. He says, when you fight, you need to have that character. You need to be something. And then when you don't fight, you have your life. You do what you do. So like, when I'm not fighting, I'm like climbing mountains, jumping on poles, and going to the beaches, walking with the dog. Like, that's Alan Philpott. That's me. But whenever now I'm training, I'm fighting, I'm Super Ali. And so that's where that's all comes. So it actually comes from all my family and friends singing the song.
Yep.
That's where it came from. And like, this is years ago, like years since I was boxing as a young like 12-year-old. So, and now it's worked its way up to now. That's the name. And
that's cool.
Yeah, man, it's good, and it makes more sense too. Like, you can build like a sort of character out of that. Like, that makes sense. Do you know what I mean? Once start winning again, start getting some t-shirts made and stuff. You can get like certain logos that can make sense. Like, the apprentice is hard. I mean, I'm not going to get like a painter or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I can get Super Ali. I can make something out of that. I can make it more exciting and more fun. And yeah, it's good.
Yeah, it's funny because my wife she makes this comment that whenever she watches any of my videos and things like that, she's like, "Who are you? You're like this different person."
Yeah.
And I'm always like, "No, it's still me. It's just
This
like,
is your Johnny Yaps
Yeah.
on the podcast, and then you've got your family Johnny
Yeah.
Yaps. Yeah.
right." So yeah, it's just funny. The way that she always says, "Yeah, you seem like a different person," but then at the same time, she knows it's me. She's just like, but she's sometimes like, well, "Who is this guy?" Like I'm obviously bringing out certain aspects of my personality and accenting those a little bit more, and I don't do it intentionally.
Yeah, it just happens.
It's just you got to be who you are, right? You got to, and I think that's part of just enjoying each of the moments as they come.
Yeah, 100%, bro. That's it.
So I think that's a great way to end this podcast.
Yeah,
It's
man.
been a lot of fun.
Appreciate it, bro.
Right, it's been really good.
Legend.
And
April 1st we'll be calling hopefully April 1st on Silverback we'll be calling the fights again, and yeah, man. So it's exciting start of the year.
yeah, well, I wish you all the best for your fight, and
Cheers, bro.
I'll look forward to seeing how this year goes for you.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Cheers, bro.